Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Momentum's Exo Customer Forum. So happy to have you with us this morning. My name is Al Emery, Managing Director at Momentum Software Solutions. Most of you know me, and it's great to see so many of our customers joining us this morning for our May Customer Forum. I'll take you through our agenda for today and just touch on a couple of housekeeping things as well. So with web meetings and Teams meetings especially, we want to make sure that the content coming through to you is as clear as possible. So we would ask you to mute your microphone, and during the meeting at any time, feel free to ask questions. You can use the little raise your hand icon or use the chat to post questions. And also probably simpler to turn your camera off, and that helps minimize the bandwidth that we're utilizing as well. We are recording this webinar, and once we've completed it, we'll do a little bit of editing and share that with you in a few days' time. Okay, so the agenda for this morning, everybody, is I'll give you an update on what's been happening at Momentum since we last caught up. And most importantly, we want to provide, a lot of meaningful content for you all. So we have some guest speakers today, and we're excited that MYOB joining us to provide an update on MYOB in general, and also specifically updates on MYOB Exo, what's been happening with the product over the last 12 months or so, and what's planned to happen in the near future. So that'll be presented by James Brading, who's Segment Product Manager at MYOB, and Anshu Maharaj, who is the Exo Product Manager. So we're rapt to have James and Anshu with us. After that, Michelle, one of our Exo team, is going to provide you with a demonstration on some of the new features that have been introduced into the Exo product over the last number of versions and upgrades. We have Arsenio Mendoza from Dicker Data, and he's going to be talking to us about the sorts of things you can do in the cloud. We're sort of getting outside of the ERP space and talking about things that you can do in the cloud, particularly with a lot of the Microsoft Stack products. I'll introduce you to our team of consultants and technicians that look after our Exo customers. We're going to show you an add-on. So Momentum has various add-ons that we've written over many years for MYOB Exo. We have a new one which is in beta, which is a inventory or stock replenishment application that really expands very significantly on the standard functionality of what Exo will do. So I will endeavour to show you that. We're going to take a look at a bit of a comparison between MYOB Exo, the product that you'll use and have been using for quite a period of time, and the newer MYOB Advanced Cloud application, and just touch on some key highlights that might be of interest there. And then we have Brian, who's going to be taking you through the Cloud Payroll offering, which is also part of the MYOB Advanced Suite, and plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So just a quick update from me, and I won't spend too much time on this. What has Momentum been doing in the past 12 months? Well, we're growing. We're a rapidly growing business, and a lot of that's attributable to acceleration of businesses moving to the cloud, but also expanding our Exo client base as well. We've had a number of customers join us for over the last 12 months. So in total, we have nudging 250 businesses running the different ERP and payroll solutions that we offer. We've delved deep into manufacturing and construction in a number of ways, both with our people and also software offerings that we have. We've increased our team, so we're now around about 35 people and 2 roles hiring right now. I would say that we've been a little bit strained for capacity with our Exo team, certainly late last year, but we've made some changes to accommodate that and make sure that we can be more responsive to you going forward. We launched an online learning system for MYOB Advanced called the Bootcamp. And in particular, we are very focused on, I guess, an ongoing good customer experience by having regular catch-ups with our customers. We've recently appointed a customer success manager, David, who, if he hasn't been in touch already, will be doing so over the next few months. Really to talk about, where are you going with your business and how can we help you achieve your goals. We love to celebrate customer anniversaries, particularly businesses that have been with us for 10 years or 5 years. And we spend a lot of time on internal training to make sure our consultants are as expert, not just in the software as they can be, but also in how businesses operate. In fact, last Friday, we had our quarterly clam bake, we call it. And we spent a large part of that talking about different businesses or different industries and what they do and how they do it operationally, not just from a software perspective. So we think that's important to know. We acquired an office in Brisbane, and in fact, we've got more people in our Brisbane office than we have in our original Sunshine Coast office. So growing our team in Brisbane. We celebrated our 12th year operating as a business, and we hired 12 new people. So a very busy time. Over the next 12 months, we are very focused on continuing your journey with Exo, rolling out upgrades, obviously new features only provided through the upgrade process. So we'd encourage you to do that at least once per year. Enhancing the experience through add-ons and integrated solutions that are available either directly from Momentum or through the MYOB app marketplace, and continually improving what we do. We do talk to businesses about cloud offerings, so that there is a migration to the cloud broadly in business, and certainly in mid-sized businesses, which most of you are, particularly over the last year or two. So that can be moving your server infrastructure into a hosted environment and running Exo in the cloud, or moving to a pure cloud application. Depends on where you're at with your business journey. And we're helping those customers that want to move from Exo to Advanced. We're helping them do that as well. You can see there on that slide, we had a number of customers that have been with us pretty much since we started. So 5 and 10 year anniversaries. We really appreciate the longevity that many of our customers have with Momentum. So thanks once again for all of your support today and ongoing. Okay, so that's my intro completed. Much more importantly, what's happening in the world of MYOB and MYOB Exo. So I will hand over now to James Brading, Segment Product Manager at MYOB, and with him is Anshu Maharaj, who is the Exo Product Manager. Thanks, James.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'll really appreciate it. While Anshu just works through, and I think she's going to change around the sharing and get the slides in place and get that all sorted out, let me start by saying it's absolutely fantastic to be here. Thank you very much for having us, Momentum. Really appreciate that. So by way of introduction, my name is James Brading. I am the Segment Product Manager for the MYOB Enterprise Platform products. Now, essentially what that means is that my team and I are responsible for a portfolio of products within the enterprise division, including Exo Business, Exo Payroll, Advanced, and several other solutions. So I'm not going to talk to you for very long, but I do want to just start the session by just giving an insight into the MYOB Enterprise mission and focus. All right, so Anshu, if you could move across to the next slide, please. So our mission in MYOB Enterprise Division is to future-proof our customers' success by providing the platform for business to survive and succeed in a digital-first world. So in summary, we exist to help future-proof your business. That's what our target is. That's what we aim for. Now, whether that is helping to create efficiencies in your operations, whether it's helping you to maintain compliance with regulatory bodies, or helping you to grow your business, we want to be there to be able to support you through the process by providing a platform for businesses that will deliver to those expectations in an easy and simple way. So that's our mission, and that's why we exist here in MYOB. And do you want to move on to the next one, please? There's always questions around what do we mean when we talk about a business management platform, and how does it help you, and how can we help you? So to understand what we mean about the business management platform, let's understand the principles of the platform. So firstly, a platform needs to be connected. And this does not just relate to the products making up the platform, such as ERP, payroll, and workforce management as examples. Those products need to be tightly integrated. But what we are looking to do goes way beyond that. We're looking to provide a platform that provides a set of integrated, interconnected workflows linking in with customers, your suppliers, and other key trading partners, and a platform that can grow and adapt to your needs and requirements. So we have programs of work in place to be able to look through all of the different workflows, the integrations, etc., to see how we can remove friction points and provide extended integration areas and elements beyond what are available today. Secondly, a platform needs to be adaptable to meet the changing environments of the surrounding environment that you're working in. And so this really talks to our ability to be able to support you in areas such as compliance, where with our sole focus on ANZ, we can support you through the regulatory requirements and continue, and it's an area that we continue to invest heavily in. We're also doing a lot of work with government. We are really trying to advocate for business to be able to support a lot of different areas and ease a lot of the red tape, etc. We also have a lot of industry knowledge in different areas, and it's a focus area that we've been building our skill sets in. So recently we've been hiring a lot of people who have got very specific, very focused knowledge within certain industries. So we really want to be able to make sure that we are building solutions and building workflows that can support your particular businesses. And then finally, a platform needs to be able to support the ability to be decisive, to provide you with not just data, but insights into your business that can help you and assist you with your operations. So again, we're doing a lot of work around how we can take your information and start providing deeper insights into your solutions. So that is what we focused on delivering to support our customers to survive and to succeed. So now I'll pass you on to Anshu, who will take you through some of the specifics relating to the products. Thank you very much, and I really hope you enjoy the rest of your session.
Awesome. Thank you, James. And like James mentioned, it's a pleasure to join you all this morning. Hi, everyone. My name is Anshu Maharaj, and I'm the product manager for Exo Business. So let's have a look at Exo Business and what's changed since the last update. MYOB has been taking a lot of interest in ensuring that Exo Business customers are supported in their current product. And not only that, but that they have pathways for the future. And this is reflected in our product mission. So Exo Business product will be maintained and existing customers supported while providing them with pathways to cloud. The three pillars that support this mission are compliance, delivering tax and technology compliance. So we're ensuring that customers have a system that is secure and it meets the legislative and technology requirements of the present day. Customer value add enhancements. So to enhance flexibility and user experience to ensure that you're getting the most out of your system. And finally, digital transformation, providing your business with pathways to cloud. Looking at the Exo Business product, the 2022.1 release is available now, and it contains a few different features. One of those is the TPA, which is that taxable annual payments report endpoints update. So if your business submits this report to the ATO, then you'd need an upgrade to be able to submit the report before the 28th of August. There's also a lot of work last year done in relation to negative stock. And to wrap up this work, we added capability to prevent negative stock when job transactions are duplicated. So previously what happened was when a job was duplicated, stock balanced was incorrectly reduced. Exo now alerts the user saying that it cannot duplicate all job transaction lines as this will result in negative stock for stock items, and it'll give the user options to proceed. We work on a release cadence of quarterly releases. So we aim to put out value, stable releases with enhancements and bug fixes for your business every quarter. Looking at our focus for this quarter, Microsoft had earlier announced that it would no longer support Internet Explorer. And this meant that users would lose some access to in-product capability that's dependent on Explorer. So the team have worked on this and I've removed the dependency on Internet Explorer. And what this means is that with the Exo product, you'll be able to use other browsers, and in-product capability will extend to that and allow you to do that. From a value-add enhancements perspective, for this quarter, we looked at usability enhancements to make it easier for our customers to use the existing features. An example of a value-add enhancement is resolving the rounding by line item for cash sales. We've had feedback on this for a while that it causes a lot of confusion for users when rounding happens line by line. So this is something that we're looking at and providing an update on that in the upcoming release. Another idea that caught our eye was right-click options on debit and credit transactions tab. So ideally, as a user, I'd like to see menu options that relate to my work and to my access level. The team also came across an idea that looks at multiple stock items in the distribution advantage module. So previously, when you were creating an invoice in that particular area and you had to add different stock items, you would have to go in continue multiple times to select different items. We're looking to add functionality to this module where users can select multiple stock items in one go and then have these populated on the detail lines. And I'm sure that your warehouse and distribution teams would love this change. These are just some of the ideas that we're working through for the upcoming release. As always, I would recommend that you upgrade and keep your ERP system on supported versions so that we continuously deliver fixes and enhancements, and it keeps adding value to your business. So James earlier spoke about connected business management solution that is cloud native. So what is this cloud opportunity and how can it help your business? When someone mentions the cloud, they're referring to a network of remote servers hosted online that store, manage, and process data in place of local servers and personal computers. So rather than hardware and software that's necessary to run a program sitting on your desktop, or perhaps somewhere inside your company's server network, it's provided to you as a service by a host provider on cloud. A very simple, very common example of the cloud in action is your website. Most mid-sized businesses don't host their own websites because their core competency is not internet technology. And even large corporations that host their own websites, they won't usually have their own computer servers stored in their building. Most will use a combination of their own data centers and third-party hosting and cloud services. In the context of cloud solution, you're essentially hosting your business management software and internet services remotely, and that unlocks value for your business in a number of ways. Cloud-based business management software offers a number of benefits, and let me go through the 5 key benefits from my perspective that your business could get by working in cloud. So increased productivity. You've got one source of truth for your data that the right people can access in real time anywhere. This improves the accuracy of information and increases visibility based on need. There's less manual handling of tasks and workflows, so you spend more time doing work that matters and less time on manual data entry or fixing errors. Connected workflows. Successful business management is highly dependent on information flowing in from across the business, whether it's weekly demand information or supply or manufacturing plans. This is where a cloud platform comes into play. A business management system paired with payroll connects your key workflows and sources of data to ensure simpler compliance, streamlined business processes. Costly and complicated integrations give way to seamless workflows that make running your business simpler. Then there's powerful insights. And of course, with all your data in one place in real time, you can easily turn data insights into power your business. And that can be turned into a real competitive advantage. With the data available anytime, anywhere, your team is better able to collaborate and drive your business forward. Then there's the element of simplified technology. There are practical benefits from a technology and resource perspective. With cloud technology, you reduce your IT support costs because your software provider hosts and maintains servers, databases, and all the code. You don't have to maintain expensive hardware. You don't need to pay large upfront application software licenses or cost of maintaining and supporting applications. Instead, you pay more manageable monthly fees. Having your business critical systems on cloud service gives you confidence that your important data is safe and secure, even in the event of emergencies. Your provider will ensure that your data is backed up, and if there is a disaster, they will have a recovery plan in place. That's one less thing for you to worry about. The software is automatically kept up to date by the provider, meaning you don't need to download updates for compliance or enhancements. You're on the latest version. No more manual upgrades, no more missed emails. Then there's scalability and agility. Having a business management solution that grows with your business is critical. With cloud, you'll benefit from more easily scalable storage, so your business isn't limited by system constraints. The ability to adapt to changing circumstances is key. Thinking about COVID and the immediate shift to working from home, data that's accessible at any time or place was key in business navigating that shift. Employees increasingly want to live near their office rather than commute. So having data that's available across more decentralized office footprint, it's something that businesses need to start having the agility on and start to considering. It's not just about having a solution that grows with your business. Consider how better insights, greater productivity, happier employees, fewer IT costs, faster working processor can power your business's growth, and you can start to see the true value of cloud. So why am I talking to you about options in cloud? Undeniably, MYOB has a proud heritage in desktop products. We know that they are relied upon by customers like yourselves, customers that have been loyal to us for many years. But we also understand that the future of business management lies squarely in cloud. As our own business is evolving in the future, we know that yours is too. And that's why we are heavily focused on the newer, best-in-cloud product like MYOB Advanced Platform. We want to empower you with the best solutions we can offer and power your business's ambition. I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of COVID, but certainly fueled by COVID in the last 18 months, we've seen more digital transformation delivered by businesses than in the previous 10 years. And so, more now than ever, digitization and shift to cloud is a question of when, not if. And we know that the huge competitive edge that future-fit modern software and processes offer businesses. In our Forrester Consulting report, we found that businesses with the right solutions are more efficient, grow faster. And the stats are quite staggering. On average, decision makers reported that employees spend around 12.5 hours a week on manual tasks due to ineffective or inefficient digital solutions. And that's over 32% of their working week. So what does this mean? When you translate that lost productivity, I'd say around $27,000 per employee, If you employ 50 people, that's $1.35 million. At 100 people, that's $2.7 million. And the numbers become staggering. If you do the maths, it makes an easy business case. We're currently writing off over 30% of productivity for our people. However, businesses that have adopted a future-fit modern solution are growing 3 or 3.2 times faster than their industry peers. So the question to consider, if you're not considering cloud right now, what opportunities are you missing out on? This is your opportunity to change the direction of your business, to unlock true potential and unleash ambition. I'd like to pause here to recognize the fact that we know digital transformation is not easy. Any business, any change management required to permeate through an organization can be complex. But we're here to help out throughout the way. Thinking about moving to cloud and what that could mean for your business. Maybe it's time to lead the change in your organization, embrace transformation for those who are already on this journey, or to set the pace of change. So while all that might sound a bit doom and gloom, there is a clear solution, an advanced cloud solution for your business, addressing those challenges so your business can go from good to great. Many decision makers already know this, and our Forrester research also highlighted that there are some difficulties and barriers in making the case for change. The good news is that there are some clear pathways to solve this as well. You may be grappling with the cost of change. We're wide-eyed to the cost of implementing a new solution in terms of upfront cost and time. But it's critical to take a broad view. As we've discussed, assessing the cloud cost of desktop solution on productivity, decision-making, collaboration, growth is a simple place to start. Assess that against the cost of change and the benefits your business can realize. Your partners can help you with the cost-benefit analysis for that. We know that talking to customers like yourselves, it can be difficult to determine when is the right time to act. Reflect on what's happening in the broader market with your competitors. Assess the risk of inaction, both in terms of cost, but also missed opportunity. Where does technology fit in your strategy to grow your business and reduce costs? Ask yourself, what empowering your teams to work from anywhere, streamlining your processes, harnessing your data, and getting rid of those manual tasks for once and for all truly means for your business today. Change management, particularly when it comes to core functions, is challenging. Working with a partner that knows your business well is a must. Likewise, a partner that is a local expert, not a global generalist, who'll understand the tax regimes in Australia is critical in changing your business management solution. On the other side, a well-executed change is tangible. Tangible improvements for your people and your business. Simpler processes, greater focus on high-value tasks, and easier to use tools, all contributing to the health of your organization. And finally, implementation. Implementation comes with downtime, and it's a risk that needs to be managed. With a partner like Momentum, who has proven record with implementations, knows your current solutions, and frankly already has skin in the game, implementation is a step that they are well positioned to manage with you. Consider concerns around implementing this with any of your BAU technology pain points. Do you spend additional time on manual software upgrades? Does your IT team need to manage complicated integrations? Cloud and our seamlessly unified ERP payroll cloud platform can help alleviate everyday technology inefficiencies. It's important to compare short-term implementation concerns with the hidden costs of sticking with status quo. Transitioning to MYOB's advanced platform provides a technology pathway to more than just business management. The MYOB Advanced Platform is a cloud business management platform that consists of cloud enterprise resource planning solution, so ERP solution, payroll, and workforce management. The MYOB Advanced platform is easily configurable and has built-in integrations with world-class software vendors and third-party apps, giving you a scalable system that grows with your business. And it's easily customizable to cater for your business's specific needs and requirements. Whether you only need ERP today, or ERP or in payroll, or perhaps workforce management in the future, you can enjoy the peace of mind that MYOB Advanced platform can scale and adapt to your business's changing needs. Finally, great underlying technology is not the only part of the solution. We've tailored MYOB Advanced platform specifically for ambitious Australian business companies like yourselves. We're not global generalists. With our expertise, you can be confident that you're compliant with ATO requirements. Being specialist means that whether you're speaking to our sales, customer teams, or to your partners or support teams, you're speaking to people who understand your local nuances. That is all I had for us today. I'm happy to help you out with any questions if you have any. Otherwise, I'm sure you could reach out to Momentum as well. And with that, I'll hand over to you, Elle.
Thank you, Anshu and James, for that update on Exo, MYOB, and obviously Anshu has provided a bit of an introduction into MYOB Advanced, which we're going to be talking about a little later on today. Next, we have Michelle Sagar, who is one of our experienced Exo consultants. And she is going to take you through, we're looking back a little bit further than just the most current release of Exo. And we've just picked out, I guess, what we thought were key highlights over the last number of versions of MYOB Exo. So over to you, Michelle.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I appreciate the time. I'm just going to share my screen with you. Today, we're just going to mention a few things, not all of them sort of fully set up and working to show you, but I just wanted to mention that reversing depreciation is something that's going to be available in the newer version, and that's something we can go through with you if it's a feature that you would like. There's a few changes in the business alerts. We now have business alerts on. We now have business alerts available for receiving inwards goods. So if you go into a purchase order and you inwards goods receipt it, you can have them on the receipting or on the costing. But when you save or proceed to your costing, you can pop up with any kinds of warnings, reminders, blockings, as you do with the other business alerts you can set up in other systems of Exo. In job costing, there's also the option for when you write off lines. It now prompts you to ask what sort of dates you'd like to use to do the write-off for. So if it's for a previous period, you may want to write it off the previous period, or you may want to run it off in the current period and select the date. There's also event reasons now set up for cancelling or writing off job lines. So you can force a reason to be entered against those as well. So that's something I wanted to just show you today. Job costing also now has a feature to prevent the negative stock if you are doing a copy of a previous job. Sometimes the stock may not be available. It was available on the original job. So when you go to duplicate and you choose the job that you're wanting to copy, you can choose to, if you choose to duplicate the transaction lines, it's going to check if that stock is available first, and it's going to warn you if any of those stocks will result in negative quantities. And this works if you have the preventing negative stock set on your profiles. So you can choose to duplicate the job without the transactions or duplicate the job with the remaining transactions that are on the job. And that will assist with preventing the negative stock quantities. And that's that's all I have for you today. I know that was very brief, but I will pass on to whoever else needs to continue. Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, we're moving quickly so that we stay on track, but I thought I might just reiterate, I guess, what we consider are the benefits of some of those features. So inwards goods is kind of the event in the system that books your inventory into stock, and it's a common source of error. So a user has received something in at the wrong unit of measure, wrong quantity, wrong cost. And if that is not done correctly or captured quickly, then all sorts of problems can then flow on from there. So incorrect inventory valuation, incorrect margin if you then subsequently sell that stock, and all kinds of rework to try to fix it. So business alerts, even though Michelle showed a simple example, they're really what you'd call a business rule. So there are ways of coding those business alerts to help detect and even prevent errors. So a business alert can be a warning where it just pops up a message to the user, but it can be a blocking alert, which actually stops them saving the transaction unless they correct the error that's potentially been made. So I think that's a really important one, because we do have customers that contact us and have encountered those types of errors and not noticed until sometime later when they're reconciling their balance sheet, for example, and it can, have quite a significant knock-on effect. So business alerts on inwards goods is actually a little thing, but a big thing, we think. Reversing depreciation is something that some of our customers have specifically asked for. So it's good to see that the ideas portal that we access and log those enhancement requests on behalf of customers does get looked at by MYOB and actioned. The date for cost line changes on jobs. So that's really helping a lot of our customers. We have a lot of businesses using the job costing module especially, and there's quite a lot of end of month stuff to do to make sure that your work in progress is accurate. And that often requires lines to be written off or cancelled or moved to another job. And if you've already rolled your system into the new month, and that's a common scenario, so I'm in the second or third day of the month trying to adjust some things that relate to prior month, it's a problem. The new feature allows you to control that and still post those write-off transactions back into the prior month so that you've got an accurate work in progress report and margin on the jobs that you're working on. So again, a little thing, but a big thing. As well as reason classes and reason codes. That was something that we asked for on behalf of a number of our customers. So they want to know, well, who wrote off that line and why. So you now have the ability to do that. Okay, so next on our agenda, and you heard Anshu talking about cloud and specifically MYOB Advanced Cloud ERP, but cloud is a lot more than that, and we've been through a journey in our own business where we had all of our systems running on our own server in a server room. About 8 years ago, we then moved to a hosted server, but still running all the same applications just on somebody else's server, which gave us more security, more flexibility, and more scalability. And then we made the move a number of years ago to take all of our documents off of that server where they were in folders and put them on SharePoint, for example, and then start using Teams. But we learned a lot in that process. Some of it was how not to do it. It's very easy to spin up a SharePoint site and then put a whole bunch of folders in it. And if you do that, you're probably not doing it right, because folders are somewhat limiting in that a document might have more than one purpose and be used by more than one person or more than one department. And so what folders it live in? If you use things like taxonomy within SharePoint, that gives you the ability to tag each document with what its purpose is. Is it a template? What kind of template is it? What department or departments use it? And make it searchable rather than people have to click through various folders to find it. So that was a little learning that we had. Our senior from Dicker is going to talk about a lot of other things, not necessarily SharePoint, that also allow you to get more efficient, do things in a cloud environment. So I'll hand over to Arsenio now, and he'll take you through some of that. Thanks, Arsenio.
Thanks, Alan. No problem. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. Yeah, so today I'm going to be discussing more so the Power Platform and how you can utilize the Power Platform with, your existing applications, and not necessarily Microsoft applications. It could be any type of workloads that it could be on premise or it could be in the cloud. So just a brief agenda. So what I wanted to just briefly discuss is that low-code evolution, which is essentially what the Power Platform is built upon, that concept of low-code where anyone can build out an app. Why utilize the Power Platform? Bit of an overview of the platform, and then we'll just finish off with a couple of examples and use cases. So where did we start? So the evolution of when people were buying applications, it was really custom built to the actual business's requirements. And you probably noticed a lot of these older languages such as COBOL and Pascal in the mix there, and Fortran. These were all bespoke applications. The next iteration was when we actually started to develop package solutions, off-the-shelf solutions such as ERP solutions, CRM solutions, and HRM. And more often than not, to connect a lot of these applications, you had some type of integration or middleware running in between the applications to pass information through. We've gotten to a point now what we call low-code development, where you can actually develop your own bespoke line of business processes and applications, and automate a lot of your manual processes through this low-code development platform, what we call the Power Platform. And the benefits of actually utilizing the low-code development platform is what we found is it's a higher rate of success. A lot of these traditional developments of custom applications, it does take quite a number of times, sometimes even years, whereas the low-code development life cycle is generally days or weeks to develop out an application or automate a specific process. It's generally loved by both the business and the IT because both areas of the business do have input and also can get involved in the development of the actual applications and those automated workflows. Whereas with traditional development, it does tend to lag with IT, and there's constant business tension with the business decision makers because of that lag. And lastly, generally, once you actually develop your first apps, it does breed, innovations within the business, and you can start to actually formulate ideas on how you can utilize the Power Platform for replacing those manual processes in other areas of the business. Microsoft is a leader in the low-code development platform. It has been for a number of years now. The likes of, OutSystems and Mendix are also quite popular. But in terms of the integration with your existing workloads, Microsoft does have the benefit of also working with, your existing productivity tools such as SharePoint and Outlook and Word and Excel, etc. So who buys the Power Platform? Who utilizes the Power Platform? So it's used for, obviously, growth. We need to grow faster. Obviously, innovation, consolidating information between different business systems and creating efficiencies within the business. It could be utilized through accessibility. You may have, staff that don't actually work in the office or are not IT savvy. And it's also addressing citizen pain as well. So too many manual and redundant processes within the current systems that don't work for the business, and they want to improve on those manual processes. I mean, most of you are familiar with using business applications already. You're obviously using MYOB solutions. So you've got, these applications that hold this data. But quite often when you're utilizing these applications, there's a whole host of processes that actually attach to the actual application, whether it's utilizing email for getting approvals or utilizing calendar or task functions in Outlook, and utilizing maybe Word for mail merging documents together. All of these processes can potentially be connected through the Power Platform. If we look at the Power Platform itself, there's a number of different areas, one being Power Apps, where you can actually develop your own bespoke apps, line of business apps. Power BI, which is the business intelligence tool that you can utilize for creating your own interactive dashboards and reports. And then we have Power Automate, which is the automation tool for automating workflows and processes. It could be approval workflows, or it could be some other type of automated workflow process. And the Power Platform obviously works with the Microsoft stack, but it also allows you to connect and automate a lot of standalone applications or third-party applications that you may use on-prem or in the cloud. And all of it's all sitting on Azure, of course. So when you look at the actual Power App platform, you are able to create your own custom apps, whether it's a mobile app or a tablet app or something that actually resides on the desktop. All that can be built out using the Power Platform. There is a portal solution as well, so you can build out your own websites and portals that integrate with your data as well. Power BI, which is obviously the BI tool, which allows you to actually create your own custom dashboards and reports, utilizing the different various data sources, whether it's data that's in the cloud or on premise. You have to create your reports and dashboards using Power BI, and then expose those reports and dashboards in different mediums, whether it's via the web, via an actual mobile device, embedded in Excel, or embedded in an actual application, or utilizing Cortana. Power Automate is the automation tool, allowing you to automate a lot of processes. It could be an approval workflow that you want to automate. You're able to build out workflows using branches and loops and being triggered by different types of events that may start the actual workflow, and then build out notifications accordingly for those actual workflows as well. The Power Platform does work on a data platform called Dataverse, so allowing you to have a database that's born in the cloud and utilized for integration with other third-party data sources, and consolidating that information for use for the business. So you're able to build out your business process flows and the table structures in Dataverse, and then potentially integrate that with outside data sources, whether it's payroll or your existing ERP system. With Dataverse, you do have pre-built connectors that are available to you. In fact, there are over 250 pre-built connectors. You can see some of them there, very common ones such as obviously SharePoint, there's Google, there's Salesforce, there's a whole host of pre-built connectors that are available to you on Dataverse. But you also have the ability to create your own custom connectors as well. So if you do happen to have an API or a web service that is available to you to utilize, then you can create your own custom connector to that data source. What is also available to you is what we call industry accelerators. So if you work in a specific industry, you can overlay the Dataverse platform with these industry accelerators to help you build out, an actual solution that's catered for your industry. So, for example, if you work in the not-for-profit industry, you've got an industry accelerator that manages constituent management, donation management, grants and awards management, for example. If we just jump into some of the components of the Power Platform, I mentioned Dataverse as one of the actual components, but you do also have the capability, as I mentioned earlier, to connect to other data sources. So whether it's an on-prem SQL Server, whether it's a OneDrive or a SharePoint list, or any other custom connector, you can use those custom pre-built custom connectors to build out your workflows and build out your apps utilizing those data sources. So Dataverse, as I mentioned, is the underlying data platform that the Power Platform sits on. So you're able to build out your bespoke apps and your automated flows and your reports utilizing the Dataverse platform, and also connect the Dataverse platform to your other bespoke data sources using those data connectors. Power Automate is obviously the online workflow engine where you can build out workflow approvals or any type of workflow that's replacing some type of manual process. And you can obviously integrate those workflows into the actual mobile apps you develop. So you may have an approval process when you're, say, submitting a timesheet on your timesheet app that you've developed, and it's able to go out and notify your line of business manager to approve your timesheet before it gets submitted to your payroll. That's as an example. The Power App Studio is the design studio that you utilize for actually developing out your apps. So you've got the ability to drag and drop the components onto your what we call Canvas app and design the look and feel of the actual app through the Power App Studio designer. As I mentioned, you can design apps for mobile and tablet. There is an actual downloadable app that you can download to your mobile device, whether it's Windows, iOS, or Android devices. And from that app, you're able to run any of the custom Power Apps that your company develops. The Canvas apps that you develop are pretty much open canvas, which is the reason why it's called a Canvas app. So you can design the look and feel of the app, incorporate images, logos, utilize a lot of the actual assets of the device, whether it's the mobile phone camera or the GPS tracking on the actual device or the accelerometer. You have all of those capabilities to build out your app in the Power Platform as well. And then lastly, we have portals. So you're able to actually build out your own web portal that utilizes information from Dataverse, and then have the capability for different types of authentication, whether it's Azure AD authentication or logging in with your LinkedIn or Twitter account. You have those capabilities as well. And we have the AI Builder, which is the artificial intelligence engine of the Power Platform, which allows you to build out some AI capabilities on the custom apps that you develop. So you may have one for, there's some pre-built ones, unique ones like the business card reader, key phrase, extraction, language detection, the ability to actually detect objects. So you can take a photo of an object in your app and it'll detect the type of object that you've actually taken a photo of. And there's even form processing for taking in, say, a copy of a receipt or an invoice and capturing the information from that receipt or invoice and taking it and sending it to your data source for processing. I just wanted to finish off with a couple of examples. So this company called Autoglass is a company that started utilizing the Power Platform back in April 2017. As you can see, the number of actual Power Apps that they started to develop was quite rapid. It only took them, from October to December to actually develop 8 apps for the technicians to utilize for when they're servicing the vehicles that their customers have, and then by March March 2018, that had grown to 40 plus applications used across 1,400 staff. So it is quite rapid in terms of the development cycle for developing these apps. It can be quite quick, as I mentioned earlier. And it's just an example of one of their fleet check management apps that they've developed. And lastly, shift management. So it could be a timesheet entry app that you may develop. It could be some type of purchase approval process that you may develop, or some type of clock in, clock on app. Anything that you feel that is a manual process within the business, you can potentially build out as an application or automated workflow using the Power App platform. Feel free to reach out to myself or reach out to Al if you have any questions around the Power Platform. Thank you.
Thanks, Arsenio. Great overview, and probably a lot of food for thought there for all of us in terms of what sorts of things could benefit us through utilising the Power Platform. And probably another example I might throw in is using Power BI as a management reporting dashboarding tool, where in the scenario where people in your business need to see financial or other data coming from your ERP, for example, Exo, and Power BI connects to SQL Server, which Exo runs on, as well as dashboards relating to other parts of your business that potentially are running on different applications like Microsoft Project or even Excel spreadsheets or other business applications. So that's the ideal type of scenario for Power BI as an example. So I'll just pause there. We're going to take a 10-minute break and we'll see you all back. I really would encourage you to stay on the session for the last hour, because we're going to look at meeting our team, really have a close look at our inventory replenishment module that we've developed for Exo, and have quite a frank chat with you about MYOB Advanced and how it compares to Exo, as well as looking at the Cloud Payroll. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're still with us and have had a quick break and a tea or a coffee. So the second half of our forum this morning is to firstly introduce you to our Exo team. You probably talk to the guys on the phone every other day or regularly, and sometimes on Teams, but it's always nice to put a face to the name. So the people you see on the slides, some of whom are on the meeting, some of them are busy beavering away, dealing with projects and support for our customers. But we have, and guys, if you are on the meeting, please feel free to turn your camera on and say hello. So yeah, we've got Adam McGill. Adam's a senior Exo consultant, been with us for many years, and many of you will be familiar with him. We have Michelle Sagar, and Michelle's been with us for a year or two now, and came across from one of our customers in the not-for-profit arena. And I'm sure you'll be talking to Michelle regularly. We have Jennifer Glisson, who has recently joined us, but has many years experience with Exo, and it's great to have Jennifer on the team. We have Kathy Davis, who's a payroll subject matter expert and senior support consultant, and Kathy looks after a lot of Exo payroll as well as MYOB Advanced. And we have our tech team, who a lot of you would know through doing projects with us, be that report writing, integration, and a lot of custom stuff that we do at the database level. So Steve Allett, Roderick Rabada, and Akshit make up Momentum's tech team, and we do enhancements in that area all the time. And more recently, we have David Wallace, and David has joined us as Customer Success Manager. David will be full-time with us from June, and it's an area where we recognise that at times we're not proactive enough in reaching out to our customers to talk about current plans, what their business is doing, and what might be needed from an ERP perspective to help meet those goals. So that is what David is going to be doing. And we look forward to David being in touch with you all over time. So customer success has a number of aspects to it, and just wanted to talk on a couple of those on this slide. So business is always changing, our business is changing, and I'm sure yours is as well, and often quite rapidly. So it could be that you are creating new products or service offerings in your business to diversify. Often things just need to change. So you're refining your business processes or changing your business process to keep your unique competitive position or become more efficient or effective. New companies, new divisions or departments are regularly happening in business, and often new people, new owners, new investors, new bank, new accountant. So any or all of those things can trigger a need for something to be accommodated from a software perspective, to make sure that happens with as little disruption as possible and with as most benefit as possible. So that's something that we're here to do for you, and something that we want to do more proactively going forward. So that I guess the work that gets done could be all kinds of things. So it might be a refined configuration. It might be setting up a new company or a new Exo database to run that company on, using Exo alerts to take a bit more control over what people are doing when they're transacting in Exo, and Exo alerts are a great way of doing that. Could be automation of specific tasks or events, or scheduling of reports, so that people aren't having to manually run reports and email them around, for example. And it could be identifying where there's functional gaps in what's needed for you that isn't standard, which often can be filled through some customization or add-ons that are available on the app marketplace or through Momentum, and could also be training. So new people can come into the business. If they get proper training, they'll be up and running more quickly, have a better experience. If they are kind of thrown to the wolves, it can be a frustrating experience. So we'd encourage that as well. So all of our team are here to help with those things, and it is augmented by our customer success approach, which will be David and our senior consultants, talking to you about where you're at in your business journey. A couple of things that are coming up very shortly. So we have end of financial year approaching. The steps in Exo Business are relatively simple, and most of our customers have done them many times. So you roll end of year, and reconciliations to do, but that's relatively simple process. A reminder that you also need to roll end of year in your fixed asset module and in the analytics module if you use that. There's usually more to do in payroll. There is a compliance upgrade, which will bring through any new tax scales and other compliance changes from an ATO perspective. And there are end of year processes to do to ensure that all of your STP finalizations are accurate through to the ATO, so that your employees can then go and process their tax returns via their accountant or through their online access, all of which is available in their MyGov, fed by your single touch payroll feed. So we have our payroll training webinar on the 21st of June, and you can register for that. Single touch payroll phase 2, very important. So initiative by the ATO to expand the data they're collecting electronically from employers, and MYOB are accommodating that. They had an extension from the ATO up until recently. The STP compliant version of Exo Payroll is available now and has been for a week or two. So we've already emailed all of our customers a couple of times, and we're scheduling in STP upgrades. There's a lot of documentation and information on our website about STP phase 2. Once the upgrade is done, which is normally something we do, so it's installing the upgraded version of Exo Payroll on your server. To a degree, the STP changes that you need to do, you can do yourself, but we're happy to do them with you or help you with those, depending on your level of confidence to do so. So we're working through scheduling customers in to get that done. It's important to book it in now because effectively, whether it's now or at the June compliance release, it effectively becomes compulsory as soon as you have upgraded. So it isn't something we're wanting to be in a position where we've got 100 clients trying to do it in the last 2 days of the tax year. So would encourage you to schedule that in if you haven't already. And also there is an MYOB offer with a significant discount if you purchase additional licenses or modules for your Exo suite. So that includes any Exo license, Exo Business, Job Costing, CRM would attract a discount depending on how many additional licenses you might need. And could also be Exo Employer Services module like Employee Information, which is the HR module. That offer, I think, expires on the I might get you to jump in, Morgan, actually, and let us know. I can't recall the expiry date, but it's an end of financial year offer. We'll clarify that shortly.
Yes, 30th of June.
30th of June, okay. So you can simply email our support desk with an inquiry for additional licenses. All right, so what I wanted to show you next was an add-on that Momentum has created. We have a lot of add-ons that a number of our customers use, which just enhance what the standard of features of Exo does. And inventory replenishment or purchasing is a common area that can be somewhat inefficient depending on your business, particularly if you have multiple warehouses. And particularly if you need to do purchasing relating to jobs as well as replenishing inventory, that can be a little bit clunky. So what we are trying to solve in doing that is develop, I guess, an expansion of the forecast purchase order screen in Exo, if you're familiar with that screen, and I'll show it to you shortly. Where you can order all the items you need for a particular warehouse, usually for all suppliers, and including all jobs if you have items on jobs that need to be ordered. That's essentially what we're trying to achieve. In Exo, if you were to use the standard functionality, you have a inventory replenishment report, which can tell you what you need to order for each supplier in a particular warehouse. And in addition to that, you have the forecast purchase order screen, which allows you to select a specific supplier, so one supplier at a time, and usually for one warehouse at a time, and then use that screen to look at your current stock on hand, what's already on order, what your demand is through booked sales orders and work orders, look at some sales history, and look at a calculated order figure and create a purchase order, which you do an individual supplier at a time in that screen. So if you have lots of items and lots of suppliers and lots of warehouses, that can be quite time consuming. So our replenishment add-on effectively multiplies that, so you can pick your warehouse. In fact, you could run it for all warehouses simultaneously, but you know, most commonly from a business process perspective, your purchasing department or manager would often do things a warehouse at a time. We've added into it the ability to have different default suppliers for different warehouses. So a common scenario is supplier A supplies your product to your Queensland warehouse, but supplier B supplies the same product to your Melbourne warehouse. So we can accommodate that. I won't go through all of this description in one go, but we have really built somewhat of an MRP engine into it, where It's much more sophisticated than the standard features will do. So there are different calculation methods that you have available to you to calculate what the replenishment or order quantity should be. You can set alternate suppliers for different warehouses in the scenario that I just mentioned. You can include items that you need to purchase for jobs. So businesses using the job costing module should be interested in this part, and I'll show you that quickly. If you have a scenario where you have multiple warehouses, but say warehouse A does the ordering and then replenishes or transfers to warehouse B, you can actually link those warehouses together and include the demand for warehouse B in warehouse A's purchase order. We have made sure that when we're looking at the value or the quantity of incoming committed stock, that includes stock transfers going between warehouses. The standard feature does not do that. And we've utilized extra fields on inventory items to allow you to have a different lead time for different products, but for the same supplier. So an example might be supplier A will deliver certain products they're a local supplier and they'll deliver them within 2 days, but there's certain other products that take longer and they will take 7 days. So the standard feature in Exo is a lead time per supplier, but sometimes a lead time per product is valid. And we've also looked at using planning horizons for a bit of forecasting or MRP. All right, so I'll just touch on a few aspects of that. If you're not familiar already, you have your forecast purchase order screen in Exo, which allows you to pick one supplier, let's say Aussie Car Parts, usually one location, and then look at what's needed to be ordered for that supplier and that location. You can use some filters to have different stock groups, primary or secondary stock group. And you can see sales history. So it's a reasonably well-designed screen. A lot of our customers use it, but the efficiency part is it's a single supplier at a time, and usually a single warehouse. The other thing that's relevant for job costing businesses is if you have a job, and if you use job costing, you'll be familiar with this screen. So this is the quote tab of a job. And the copy to field is a very important field. If that's flagged with a P, it means it needs to be purchased for this job. If it's flagged with a C, it means it's going to be taken from stock and it's going to be taken from the warehouse location that's defined for that job. Now, the challenge can be, does the forecast purchase order take into account items on the job that are going to be taken from stock? And the answer is the standard one does not. But we have developed our replenishment module so that it would include these items that are needed across all jobs based on a couple of settings that are configurable for you. So our replenishment module allows you to select, firstly, all suppliers rather than a single supplier. You can filter on a single supplier and you can see how responsive it is, otherwise all suppliers. You can select any single warehouse and you can see it's refreshing very dynamically, but you can actually select all warehouses because in the grid we've got a location or warehouse column. So it will calculate and create purchase orders for all suppliers and all warehouses and all items in one go if you wanted to. You have the option of using a couple of settings to work out how far into the future do you want to consider demand in calculating what you need to order. So there are profile settings in the Exo configuration module that the standard forecast purchase orders use. So you can use those same settings. You can use lead time or you can use specific date. And the rest of it is fairly self-evident in terms of how it works. You've got much the same information as what you have in the forecast purchase order screen, with the inclusion of job number, where it's picking up job demand, min max. We've added some extra information. When was the item first used? When was the item last used? What's its economical order quantity? And then looking at more detail. So what's physically on hand, what's already incoming or on order, what's committed. So sales order in the system, transfer order on the system, job would be included in committed if you've configured the replenishment module to consider job demand. And then you can look at free stock, sales history for the year, as well as broken down by month, and we can expand on that. And then so raising the purchase orders is simply as simple as you can edit these order quantities if you do want to round them up or down. Select the items that you want to order or select all, and then you've got a create purchase orders button at the bottom. So that will simply add the items to an order by supplier, by location or warehouse. So it will split that automatically. And you go to your Exo purchase order screen and you'll see lots of purchase orders there. You can choose to create purchase orders, or Exo has a feature called a purchase order quote. Either way, you have the option to review that purchase order before it is sent. So this just creates the purchase order, it does not send it. You still have the ability to review, edit, approve if you're using the approval functionality, and then send. So let me just, go back to my screen. There we go, warehouse 2. Little quick example. Create POs. Process completed. Purchase order screen. There are my purchase orders. We've got the purchase order approval function set on, so those orders now can be reviewed, authorized, sent. Okay, so hopefully that might be of interest to some of you to really make your purchasing replenishment process more efficient, especially if you have multiple warehouses, lots of suppliers, and if you have lots of jobs as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about MYOB Advanced, and I guess have a bit of a discussion about a functional comparison between the two. So there's a lot of discussion, even Anshu from MYOB talking about moving to the cloud. And so what are your reasons for wanting to do that? Changing your ERP is one, but partly the reason is often, the overall company strategy to embrace the cloud in general. So a trigger point for that could be our server is close to end of life and needs renewing. Do we want to buy another server? It could be that there is the intention to embrace the cloud in general and use as much as possible browser or cloud-based software with mobility and eliminate the server at all as a thing that you need to use or access. So our preference for Exo Custom is that you stay the course for as long as you believe Exo is benefiting you. You won't hear MYOB saying anything about end of life of Exo, and they didn't say it in today's meeting, but inevitably that day would come. If and when it does, there would be years of notice, not weeks or months, so it won't be a panicked, we need to change. So right now, you should think about changing when you're ready. Another trigger point might be your annual license fee renewal date. after which you've then, I guess, got a 12-month window to really think about it and implement, and changing usually takes several months. So the desire or need to change can simply be, platform or technology changes. So the reality is many businesses, most businesses probably are embracing cloud. Can be significant growth, change of business, acquisition or merger triggers decisions like this. Market forces, or the software just doesn't suit your business anymore. So yeah, as we know, many businesses are moving to the cloud, and that largely already happened with small business. Medium businesses were somewhat slower to embrace it, but COVID has very much accelerated movement into cloud software. So this is probably an overview of what the difference is. So we often get asked, is Advanced Exo in the cloud? The answer is no, it's not. It's a completely separately designed and developed application, designed to run in a browser, not designed to run on a server. And I would say overall, it has much more sophisticated functionality than Exo in many, many ways. And when you're ready to have a discussion with us about it, the important thing is to understand, compared to how you use Exo now, will it improve on that, or at least match it? Are there any gaps? It's not often that there are, because it is, generally speaking, a deeper and broader and more sophisticated solution. So in a few areas, so let's talk about financial management. So the general ledger, accounts payable, receivable, even the basic structure of companies. So in Exo, if you have more than one company, you have more than one database. Some of our customers have 10, 15 databases because they have 10, 15 companies. Transacting between companies requires logging into each separate database to do that. Consolidated reporting is a challenge. Advanced can have as many companies as you like in one database, and inter-entity transactions then become automated. You can still segregate information, for example, if certain people should only see or access certain companies, but a lot more sophistication in the financial management suite. And I would add to that branches or cost centers or departments that you'd be familiar with in Exo. Exo has a feature called branches, but it doesn't really have a feature called cost centers or departments. So often you're using lots of branches to try to achieve that. Advanced has a feature called branches, as well as a feature called sub-accounts, which is a way of, works very similar to a branch in that you can budget, you can use sub-accounts to create departments, regional areas, revenue streams, cost centers, and then budget and report at that level. All the financial statement reporting is drillable and has a statement of cash flows out of the box. Inventory and distribution management. So Exo is actually quite a good ERP when it comes to businesses that buy, sell, use inventory. I would say overall that Advanced is superior in a number of ways, some of which would be replenishment. So, we've just written a replenishment module for Exo. We didn't need to do that for Advanced because it already has one. So it will calculate and manage replenishment and create purchase orders in a similar way to what I just showed you our add-on might do for Exo. It has deeper functionality in terms of inventory categorization, where you can have what you might be familiar with as a stock group and a secondary group. You can go multiple levels deep with Advanced. Use that to drive pricing, use that to drive discounts, as well as searching and reporting. The warehouse and locations, so bin locations, is superior in that you could have the same item in more than one bin location in the same warehouse, for example. You cannot do that in Exo. You can also have items that have a different base cost in different warehouses. So a common scenario that we reflected on before, You have an item in Queensland, you have the same item in Victoria, but supplied by a different supplier at a different cost. So rather than just average that out, you can have an average cost for that item in Victoria and an average cost for that item in Queensland. Projects and job costing are very different, the way that works in Advance compared to Exo. In some ways, much more sophisticated, really well suited to a professional services company like ourselves. Also really well suited to construction because it has a lot of construction features that I'll touch on shortly. But Exo probably still better suited for us for like a workshop, a jobbing business. There are extensions or enhancements to Advanced that can handle that. Sales and CRM, again, overall, much more sophisticated. The CRM module has much better email integration, for example, the ability to issue quotes and multiple revisions of quotes, whether they be sales quotes or project quotes. Marketing lists and email marketing is better. And the sales workflow through sales orders can have different or custom sales order types that work in slightly different ways. For example, a sales order that commits the stock versus a sales order that does a hard allocation of stock that can't be overridden, and a return authority process with a different workflow to a sales order. There's a few highlights there. Manufacturing. I would say Exo can do manufacturing in two ways. You have a work order feature, which I would describe as basic assembly, and you can do manufacturing through job costing, neither of which handle a routing through your factory or workshop overly well, and neither of which have a full MRP capability where you might say, to make this finished good, I need certain quantities of sub-assemblies that I need to pre-make, and to make those I need certain quantities of raw materials that I need to make my sub-assemblies. The manufacturing module in MYOB Advanced is particularly sophisticated and able to manage all of that, as well as visual scheduling in your factory with a Gantt chart. Construction, Exo is not really a construction system at all. Doesn't really have, say, for example, progress claims, doesn't have compliant retentions, doesn't really have the ability to manage subcontractors and that sort of thing. So about 12-18 months ago, MYOB released a construction edition of Advanced that has all of those things and a number of other things. A service management module, which is really for a field service-based business where you might have technicians in the field, service schedulers or managers in the office who are using calendars to schedule technicians onto different jobs. Might be multiple service jobs in one day or over a few days. And the ability for the technician to use a mobile app to say, I'm traveling to the job, I've started the job, I'm consuming some materials, I need to purchase some items, right through to completion and even invoicing. Payroll, considerably more functionality than Exo. It has employee self-service out of the box. So what that means is a login and mobile access for your employees to get their pay slips, submit leave requests for approval, and update their details. And the reporting is able to be customized, which is very difficult to do in Exo. So we've touched on multi-companies in a single database. That can even be foreign currency-based companies. So if you've got a New Zealand entity, can still operate in Advanced in the same database. The segmented budgeting and reporting I mentioned as well. All your financial statements drillable, and then a number of things that Advanced does that Exo just doesn't do. So an allocations module. So what that is if you have, say, expenses where you're receiving an invoice from a third-party supplier, but you want to apportion that invoice across different departments or cost centers or branches. Advance can automate that by setting up an allocation. Similarly with deferred revenue and expense schedules, where, for example, your insurance, you receive the invoice today, but you want to allocate that over a 12-month expense accrual regime, you can automate that with the deferred expense schedule. Some of the revenue recognition rules in different industries are also accommodated, and foreign currency considerably better. So auto refreshing exchange rates, you can choose to have foreign currency customers and suppliers with a different control account in the general ledger, or a single control account. Exo is constrained to a single control account in Aussie, and sometimes can have some reconciliation challenges. The project module, and I guess some of this particularly covers the construction industry, but it's probably broader than that. So in Exo, you have jobs and you can have sub-jobs. In Advanced, you can have projects and you can have tasks within that project. You can budget at a task level and you can have a separate revenue budget from your cost budget. So your revenue budget might be quite simple. We're going to charge $50,000 for fabricating a certain thing. With a very simple budget, and your cost budget might be very granular, broken down into different types of materials, different quantities of labour by different trades, and it often can be easier to sort of manage those in separate screens. A lot of budget controls, the ability to issue variations for a project. So if the customer requests extra work or something comes up, you can issue a variation through the software for approval and have that update the total budget for that project as you go. Commitment tracking, so a combination of purchase orders and subcontracts, where you, in the case of a construction business, might be providing their construction services via subcontractors, so plumbers, electricians, what that may be, plasterers, and issuing subcontracts to each vendor or subcontractor for that project and tracking the compliance of that. Timesheet integration, so people can do timesheets on their browser, they can do timesheets on a mobile phone. We would say that the timesheets, as it currently stands, is probably better suited to project managers, professional services, white-collar people. There are tradie-friendly timesheet apps available and integrated via the API. And also with projects and construction, the ability to do progress claims, so milestone claims based on % complete, or fixed price, or time and material, or a combination of on a single project. Tracking compliance, so does your subby have all their insurances they need to be able to attend that job or project site? And project issues, RFIs, site diaries, photo logs and drawing logs, all associated with a job or project. Other thing I would add is that the platform in general, so a browser interface, very easy to use, and really nice Outlook integration. So able to add a plugin to your Outlook, click on an email in your Outlook screen, and then use that email to create records in MYOB Advanced, like a new contact, a new prospect, a new customer, a new opportunity, and then just continue working quite seamlessly through the email integration. So I'll just pause there. There's obviously that's not a demo, it's a functional comparison. I guess a thorough demonstration probably takes a good couple of hours because there's a lot of content to cover. And that's something that we can do for any of you anytime. There's a lot of content on our website, including videos and information about each module of MYOB Advanced. Probably a little more topically, because the Exo Payroll part of the Exo suite honestly, is closer to end of life than the Exo Business ERP. Exo Payroll runs on a Fox Pro platform. Exo Business runs on an SQL Server platform. So the SQL Server and the Exo Business environment, it has considerably more longevity. MYOB have not yet announced end of life or end of support for Exo Payroll, but they have for the My Staff Info employee self-service module. But there are opportunities now to move from Exo Payroll to Advanced Payroll, even if you're continuing to use Exo Business for your accounting and ERP needs.
So that's Advanced on the cloud, as you all can see, different to Exo. Appreciate you all hanging on for the last session, for my session, such. So starting off with empowering people with Cloud Payroll. The payroll is normally the last thing to be moved from a server-based thing onto the cloud. It's a scary proposition moving the payroll, because all your payroll data, people have to keep it, locked away in the office for the payroll officer, or in a filing cabinet full of little folders with all the leave requests and pay slips and what have you. So moving it across to the cloud is a big step. It's a decision. So you're moving from on-site onto remote servers hosted online. All your data is stored and managed online as well. But the beauty of it is stuff like you've got real-time data, you can see it anytime and anywhere. Okay, you've got increased flexibility around it, scaling up faster. In other words, you can actually increase it faster. Like Exo used to have the license codes you could email across to you and put back in again. On the cloud, you've got better security and backups. It's done for you by the cloud server, MYOB. So there's no more hacking or ransomware coming onto your server. So your data is very safe up there. You could invest in growth, obviously, the business, and the speeds are getting faster and faster all the time. Next slide, please, Al. There you go. All right. So Advanced Payroll, that module by itself, contains various features. Starting at the bottom, you've got obviously a flexible payroll assigned to it. You've got then the powerful reporting. There's actually a report writer with Advanced, then uses the same data in the payroll. So you've got a good reporting from it. The employee self-service, or ESS, is a mobile app where employees can log on and do the leave applications, pick up pay slips, do the loan contact information. So basically replaces the My Staff Info, or MSI as we know it. The beauty of it, it comes with payroll. So when you buy the payroll, the employee self-service is built in automatically. Data security, say via the web, all taken care of for you. Got real-time tax link back to your ATO. Automated processes. So within the payroll, well, in Advance itself, you can have schedules, workflow schedules, automated, all done for you. Simplified workflows. You design your own workflows, keep life simple. And of course, the extensive leave, a lot stronger leave engine as opposed to the Exo one. Next slide. So Exo versus Advanced Payroll feature comparisons. So you've got the employee setup with the TFN declaration to the ATO, which is now automatic in Advanced. You've got flexible pay cycles. In other words, you can have many different pay cycles, weekly for each year, Monday, Thursday pay cycle, the monthly one, the fortnightly one, so on and so forth. Whereas in Exo, it's just limited. Leave balancing automatically, very handy. So when you adjust, the leave gets adjusted, the value in the payroll, it'll actually go and adjust the provision on the balance sheet in the GL for you. Whereas in Exo, that was all very manual. So leave adjustment going back to the financial side of the balance sheet, automatic, wonderful. We've also got public holiday processing. So the system can upload all the public holidays automatically into the pay cycles. Whereas in Exo, there was a manual process. The employee self-service, so the ESS, say it's a core module, comes with it, whereas an Exo was My Staff Info and wasn't available on a mobile device. Unlimited leave types. So again, like I said, a stronger leave engine, you whole lot of leave types you can set up and create yourself in Advanced, whereas in Exo, you're limited to the standard annual leave, sick leave, and long service leave. Audit trail, again, in Advanced, there's a full audit trail, which you can switch on even down to field level to see who did what and when, what was the value before, what's the value now. whereas in Exo, it's very limited within that kind of order site. Adding to that, to add this thing called remote access as well. Obviously, you access the payroll can be done remotely and through your mobile app. And we can customize various parts of the payroll, like the various fields and menus. And we've got an approval mapping as well. So you know, approving lists of what happens in the payroll. The reporting is also customizable. There's own report writer. It comes with a bunch of reports, obviously, but you can also go and add on your own reports. Whereas in Exo, the report writer there was fairly limited. Those of you who played with it or tried it, you noticed it was just basically a drop and drag thing. It didn't work too well half the time. The moving employees be companies. Again, multiple companies in advanced, very easy. Whereas in Exo, you basically type them in again and reset them up. The GL integration. So again, because Advanced has got the GLs with the multiple companies, multiple branches, it's all built into the payroll as well. So you allocate payroll expenses across multiple companies, multiple branches, multiple sub-accounts based on fixed percentages or hours worked, etc. Whereas in your Exo one, there was more of a, it was there, but not as powerful as what you got in Advanced. Also with the Advanced Payroll, MYOB have released the Workforce Management module. So Workforce Management is the HR side of things. Whereas on Exo, that was, again, another module called Employee Information, whereas Workforce Management itself is much more powerful, a lot more sophisticated than Employee Information. It also includes time and attendance, which is, well, it was the other module in Exo, but again, Workforce Management is all inclusive. We'll talk more about Workforce Management, I think, on the next slide. Changing on. Yeah. So, Workforce Management. Okay. So basically, you've got then on there stuff like you've got your payroll rules. So you can set up a basic award interpretation to say, well, you know, the first 8 hours is normal time, the next 2 hours is time and a half, and the balance is double time. You've got then the document management as well. So you can have then going from onboarding of employees. So any new employees, you can have an onboarding process. They get emailed, say, welcome to the company. Please complete the following forms or upload a copy of your license or a copy of your blue card or your forklift license. And that then flows back into the workforce management, can then flow into the payroll for the onboarding side of it. The mobile app also comes with workforce management. So on the mobile app, they would have stuff like, again, the onboarding, the rostering and timesheeting. So the rostering side, again, setting up in workforce management to say who works on what shift and when. And the rostering can then be moved around for staff that's been scheduled and rostered, and the timesheets acts from the rostering again back to payroll. Leave management will happen in workforce management. So if you have workforce management and payroll, you'd use the workforce management leave and not the payroll leave management side of things, with the self-service as well and the timesheets. And of course, built into that again is business intelligence and reporting. So you can actually got extremely powerful reporting and setting up screens and forms and reports around the workforce management side of things. Right. My staff info. Some of you, or most of you, may have MSI, did you know it, or my staff info, which is the module with MYOB Exo, where your employees pick up their pay slips. So you send the pay slip to my staff info, they log in, they pick it up. They can also do timesheets in there as well. They do leave applications as well. So MYOB have announced that end of life for my staff info is happening. It's happening because the workforce management is cloud-based. It's a lot more better solution and a lot more sophisticated. My staff info, like Al said, is based on the Foxtrot database. It's been around a long, long time. So basically ease it out and replace it with my staff with workforce management. The employee services will still operate. So employee services is your payroll. So MYOB Exo, employee services is the payroll. So payroll is still working, so is time and attendance, and so is the employee information, which is the HR side. It's just the My Staff Info module, which is being taken away basically next year. So there's two phases, end of service, EOS, and end of life, EOL. The next slide will explain more about that. Mind, please, Al, change slides. So end of service this year, October. The end of service means you can still access it, but there'll be no more enhancements from MYOB. No more bug fixes or any more development. And this is a disaster. So MYOB will stop will do support and no more support by phone and email in October. Momentum will keep on supporting our clients. So our clients, Momentum's clients with Microsoft Info, we will keep supporting as much as we can, as we've done anyway in the past. All online information will still be accessible, but won't be updated. In a year's time, though, in 2023, they're basically going to switch off Microsoft Info, take it off the servers and delete it. So basically we're saying we've got a year to move off Microsoft Info and either move to MYOB Advanced using Workforce Management or just using MYOB Advanced Payroll. There's information on that page there. We would have all have had a notification from Morgan as well lately about this, what's happening with Microsoft Info. There's white papers involved. Happy to chat further. Happy to do any demonstrations. Anybody wants to see what workforce management looks like or payroll and how it compares to MSI? And that's my session done. Thanks, Al. And any questions?
Thanks, Brian. So yeah, just a quick wrap up. We've had a presentation by James and Anshu from MYOB on, I guess, where MYOB is heading as a company, as well as the EXO in recent updates and future updates. We had Michelle and myself recap recent improvements incorporated into the EXO product over the last 4 or 5 versions. We had a look with Arsenio at some of the Microsoft tools that are available to automate all kinds of things, whether it's dashboards and reports through Power BI or even making apps with Power Apps. We looked at Momentum's Replenishment add-on, and we'd invite any inquiries about that. Feel free to reach out to us. And then we've given you, I guess, a functional comparison, an overview of things that MYOB Advanced does well and does in comparison to EXO. So I'll just stop sharing my screen and we're happy to take any questions that you've got. We hope that the session today gave you a lot of good information and gave you some things to think about. Feel free to just unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you want to pop something in the chat. Otherwise, I'll thank you for attending today.
Yeah, hi, Al. It's Ross here from CMI, Creation Ministries. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Just one question, actually 2 questions for you. The first one was, although there was no end of life being mentioned by MYOB in terms of EXO, there didn't seem to be any comprehensive feature roadmap for the next few years. Are you aware of any?
There is a roadmap. I would say that it's not particularly extensive. They utilising feedback from partners through the ideas portal as well as defects. Yeah, so there will continue to be some enhancements coming, but it would be fair to say that the bulk of development investment is going into their cloud products. The intention with EXO is obviously to keep it compliant with current technology. So as any Microsoft applications change that need to be accommodated in EXO, that will be occurring. There are some feature enhancements happening, like some of the ones that we've shown, but you would say that they're, somewhat minor in nature. We're not expecting whole new modules or major revamps of the application, would be fair to say.
Okay, thank you. Last question was in the MYOB Advanced. Just wondering, is there a set of APIs or other touch points where the possibility for integration into other external systems?
Yes, excellent question, which highlighted mine, because it's actually one of the key strengths of very comprehensive API. Just about every field object in MYOB Advanced is available through the API. Can send you some information about where you can just look at information about the API if you like, Ross.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
A contract-based REST API, and it's a customizable API. So For example, if we were creating custom fields or objects in advance, those actually can be extended as endpoints into the API very easily.
Great, that sounds a lot more extensible than the current API for Exo. Great, thanks.
All right, looks like no more questions. So yeah, I'll thank you again for attending today. We really hope that today's session was informative for you and gave you some things to think about. If you do prefer to ask questions offline, then feel free to reach out to any of us with whatever your questions might be. And thanks again for attending today.